Welcome back to the Sacred Business Mastery Podcast. And my name is Kirsten Foss, and we are here in March for our numerology business forecast. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, you may have noticed I have a little bit of a different background. I've moved things around in my office. I really felt like I needed that fresh spring energy. So it was reminding me a little bit of when I was a teenager. I used to love to change my room up. And so we've got a little bit of a different perspective, which is perfect for the energy that has arrived for us for March 2025. So before we get into what's coming down the pipe energetically for our personal lives and our business, let's debrief a little bit about February. So February was a two energy month. It was all about connection, collaboration, and intuition. So think about it, it was all about connection. And the reason why intuition is part of the two energy is because it's your connection to self. So I'm really curious how your February went this month. I really focused on the connection and collaboration piece. You probably noticed on if you're on my email list that I was promoting other businesses. I was promoting Amy Wall and her Light Lift program, that whole quantum beauty program. I'm so excited for her. I'm so excited for the students, the first cohort. And I'm so excited for our industry because we're ready for kind of this new way of doing things and shifting in the skincare industry from kind of the traditional way we've been looking at beauty to quantum beauty. Like we're crossing over into what we always knew we were doing in the wellness space, and that is healing. So I spent lots of time collaborating with Amy and promoting Amy and her program, and it was just beautiful to see the students that are in there. I've done their numerology blueprints. That was part of their program. And so I just felt like I had a beautiful two energy experience in February. So I'm curious if you tried any of the suggestions that I was talking about in terms of like how you can collaborate more in your business with your business, how you can collaborate with other people, but using that two energy as a way to generate revenue, as a way to be visible, as a way to feel more connected and joyful in your business. So feel free to shoot me an email at kirsten@kirstenfoss.com, or if you are listening on a platform that you can leave a comment, or if you want to DM me, please share with me your feedback. How did your February go? Did you try out some of those action steps that I left with you in the February forecast to expand your business in a way that rides the wave of the energies that are available to us? That's the whole point of why I am including numerology in business strategy. Numerology is, it's a divination tool, just like tarot or channeling or like, connecting with your own intuition. It's just another tool that provides us information. And what I know for sure is that as a woman entrepreneur in whatever business that you're in, we wished we could just pull back the curtain and see what's happening behind the scenes because what's happening in the 3D world is only what our eyes can see and what some of our senses can pick up. But with numerology, we get to see actually the energy that is available to us, the nuances of that energy, and to use that energy, like work with it. We're always asking ourselves, how can we make this easier for ourselves and our business? How can we make our personal lives easier? Numerology is one of those tools to make it easier because we can see what's coming down the pipe and we can course correct, we can prepare ourselves energetically, we can take right action steps so that we're kind of rolling with the flow rather than swimming upstream. All right. Now, the interesting thing about February is how it finished off, and that is on the 27th. So on the Thursday, we had a new moon in Pisces. So Pisces is that energy, that dreamy, flowy, watery energy. And then we had on the 28th, Friday, yesterday, we had a celestial lineup that is very unusual and likely not going to happen again in our lifetimes. I can't remember if at all, I'm sure it will. But in our lifetime, it's the only time that we'll see this. And what I found was interesting is that in numerology and cardology, which they're different, but they work together. Um, is that in cardology, when we do like a year forecast, one of the things we're looking at is what we call the planetary seasons. And essentially, like it goes from Mercury, Mars, sorry, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. And all of those planets correspond with specific energies. Like Mercury is all about communication and thinking. So it's like that's the beginning of the manifestation cycle is that planet. And it's because it's the start of a new thing happening, a new idea. It requires our thinking and communication. So what I noticed about this celestial lineup, all of those planets in alignment, matching up with our planetary cycle in cardology, it was kind of like a little mini manifestation portal, but like all together, like all those planets, like from start to finish of the manifestation cycle happened on Friday, February 25th, 28th. And so what that means for you is that like how you can look at how we're entering March is a bit of a like a shooting star. So we had our new moon on the Thursday, which was our invitation to look at what our new beginnings are and how we want to show up for those and how we, kind of the energy we want to embody for that. And then on the celestial lineup on Friday, kind of just shoots whatever we were um, wanting to manifest, literally like shot it into March. And now let's talk about March because and why that little kind of lunar and celestial event is really meaningful. So, March 2025 is a three energy month. And what that means is how we get there is we add up March. So, it's the third month. Um, and we add up 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5. And so, with March being a three energy, the three energy is all about creative expression. It's all about visibility. It's all about emotional depth. So, this is where it's time to be visible in a way that you've been holding, in a way that you like coming out of the way that you normally do it, which is like you may think about being visible. And I'm talking about marketing, I'm talking about doing events, I'm talking about reaching out with other businesses and collabing. But it's this creative expression and emotional expression that is the core of the three energy for the month of March. So the two energy gave us a chance to connect and collaborate. This month, we're kind of in the like it's momentum and movement, and it's time to take that creative energy, that expressive energy, and take action with it. So the three energy is inviting us to use our voice, to speak up, and to share our brilliance. Does that sound scary? I hope not. I hope that if you've been listening to me for a while and or watching these videos, that you're starting to understand that you're coded for a specific type of vibration, which is a specific type of business, a specific kind of client, a specific kind of experience. Now, if you don't know your ruling number, very easy to figure out. That's kind of a key piece to numerology. So essentially I'm talking about like the universal energies that are going on right now in these forecasts. But if you want to know your ruling number, because that shares with you what kind of your life path is all about. Very simple. It's based on your birth date. We take your birth date, we split up all the digits, and then we add them all up singularly till we get a double digit, and then we add those two digits together, and you get your single digit. So you are going to be a number between 2 and 11. And if you want to know more about your ruling number, I have a free resource for you. It's called What's Your Leadership Code? And I'm going to include a link in the show notes here for you to access that so you can figure out what your ruling number is. Because if you are a ruling number 3, this month is going to feel a little extra for you. All right. So, three energy, emotional, and creative expression. That's what this whole, the next 30 days, 31 days, 31 days in March, the next 31 days are going to be all about. Okay. Now, we also want to take into consideration the universal energy of the year that everybody's experiencing, and that is a nine energy. The nine is all about letting go. It's all about assessing and letting go. And so this year is a big year for all of us on the planet. It's an invitation to ask ourselves, what isn't working for me anymore? And you can look at this in terms of your personal life and your business. Most of the time, I'm talking about this in terms of business because that's what I'm using numerology as a tool for to help us like see the in-between spots that we're not understanding with our business. So this nine energy of 2025, which is all about completion, how this pairs up with the three energy is that it is telling us that our old fears about being expressive and about being creative, we can just let those go. They they're not serving us. Um, we're meant for something better. And in your business, this is what is part of that kind of elevating your energetics within your business. So it might feel a little uncomfortable this month if you are taking the call in order to if you're answering the call of I'm going to try to be more creative and emotionally expressive in my marketing, you know, it will still be a challenge. It's just that the energies available to us will make it easier. So just feel confident that whatever you're doing in terms of visibility and marketing, it will be a little easier. All right, so can we all agree? Can we all just agree right now in terms of the three energy month and the nine energy year that we can let go of those old fears about being visible, all right? I know that a lot of those fears come from, worrying about what your competition might think of you, worrying about what people in your personal life might think of you. Like there's just a lot of fear about visibility, but it comes from not really trusting our own selves as much. So again, this month is just our opportunity to give it a try to do something a little different with our creativity and our expression. So with the three and the nine together, this is definitely the month to be expressive, to focus on your marketing. It is not the month to hold back. It is, if you've been hesitating in terms of your visibility, it's time to break through. It is time to have a breakthrough, and to move past those visibility blocks. All right, so our key themes are in March are going to be creativity and motion. This is like marketing, speaking, your social presence. Um, See, like the three energy, let's just talk about pause a little bit and talk about the high and the low vibration. So the three energy is very much about speaking, writing, showing up without hesitation. It's kind of like probably how you see me. I've had lots of practice, but when I got started with this, I was really, really nervous. And it took a lot of practice for me to kind of show up. And part of me is coded to show up visibly. I'm a ruling number 10. I'm all about innovation, forward thinking, fresh starts, new beginnings. It's easy for me to take action because my code has a lot of one in it. But it takes it, if this is new for you, it'll take a little time. But the whole thing is that March is about creativity and motion. It's not just thinking about being creative, it's doing it. It's also about communication. So sharing your knowledge, engaging with your audience. This month is like no to gatekeeping. You know stuff that your consumer needs to know, that your clients need to know. So let's step up and share that with them. No gatekeeping. And finally, the third theme here is expressiveness, being seen in your full power. I know that can feel kind of scary sometimes if you're not used to being seen in your full power. And I know there has been like thousands and thousands of years as women that we are not, it's something that is fairly new for us to be able, that it's safe, that it is encouraged, and that people want to hear our voices. That only has been happening, in the last barely 100 years, right? So in the grand scheme of things, yes, it's going to take some time for us as women to feel safe in our visibility. But it is time, it is divine timing for you to be seen now and moving forward. You guys remember me talking about full frequency in January when I was doing the January podcast, but it was for 2025. It was the forecast for all of 2025, talking about the nine energy. And I really see this nine energy because in numerology, we're studying the numbers from one to nine. The one is the beginning of a manifestation cycle, the nine is the end. And so we are at an end of a manifestation cycle, all of us on this planet. In the last 8 years, something happened 8 years ago that got started, and we're wrapping things up. And so with the nine energy, it is very much the inner guru energy. It is, and what I am sensing and feeling very strongly about this year is that is the year for us to start sourcing our power from within. I know there's been lots of talk about it that we should be doing, but I'm feeling that the move is actually happening. That yes, we're listening to experts because we need direction, but we're not completely putting everything in, like all our eggs in with the experts. We're actually starting to think about things and discern things for ourselves. And so that whole thing is about becoming self-sourced, being your own inner guru. And what that means, and the kind of like at the end of that, is you are operating in your full frequency. And in that podcast, I was asking you to ask yourself, what would that look like if I was in my full frequency all the time? What would my relationships look like? What would my bank account look like? What would my feelings of freedom feel like? Like, like, I mean, it just kind of blows my mind if I was operating in my full frequency. So this energy of three in March is one of those opportunities to step into our full frequency, even if we're not feeling like we're all there yet. Okay. So the high lows in for three for March in terms of vibration, just so that you can recognize them, is feeling confident in your expression. So speaking, writing, showing up without hesitation. Might be a little bit of hesitation if you're just practicing. Creativity and motion. This is like the three energy, like there's the creativity and the ideas, but they take action. It's not just creativity stuck. Now, I want to say one little note about creativity. I know a lot of you as entrepreneurs, if I've asked you, like, do you consider yourself a creative person? Many of you say no. And I think we're getting the word creativity confused and pigeonholed because creativity is often associated with like art and like, maybe sewing or painting or creating artsy things. But I want to assure you that creating a business is no small feat, and you have to be massively creative in order to open your business and keep your business running. So, if you don't see yourself as a creative, as an entrepreneur, I am imploring you to think differently because you are massively creative. But sometimes if we don't see ourselves as creative, we don't kind of twig into like, oh, my marketing is part of my creativity. uh, Three energy has a magnetic presence. There's a lot of charisma, a lot of joy, a lot of playfulness with the right audience, right? So if you don't know your soulmate client yet, it's time to book a soulmate client reading so that you know how to speak to your soulmate client. It absolutely boosts your confidence in your marketing when you know who your soulmate client is, because you're like, I know I'm coded for this person, and this person is actually needs my code. So it's incredible to have a soulmate client reading, and then like your marketing, just it's where the rubber hits the road. It's so much easier. Three energy is about authenticity and boldness, being willing to see who you, being willing to be seen as who you truly are. So this might be a little bit of a work in progress, but it's also the universe is asked for you just to, yes, please share who you are. And of course, the three energy is all about social. So if you are a ruling number three, you were probably like a little social butterfly. You loved having, passing notes with your friends in school. You might have been the one that or you're told that you're the chatty Cathy. And maybe if you were kind of quiet and shy and that, because I do see a lot of ruling number threes or people that have a lot of three in their code struggle with emotional expression. So as with anything with our ruling number, the obstacle is the way. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about that low vibration of the three so that you can pick up on it when it happens. Fear of visibility. I think that is pretty clear right out the gate. When you're feeling shut down in the three energy, you don't want anybody to see you. You just want to be in your treatment room or do your work, what you're doing, or work at your desk. And yet, your business can't get out into the world unless you actually have visibility. Overthinking and perfectionism. Oh, for those of you that have a ruling number three, oh, the overthinking, it is because you have tons of ideas. The three energy is going to be throwing all sorts of stuff at you this month. For those of you that are a ruling number three, it's like I said, it's going to be a little extra, but the ruling number three always seems to struggle with an overwhelm amount of ideas. So, we've often seen, and I've heard on podcasts and social media that, are you the type of person that like you have a bazillion ideas and you don't know what to do with them? And then you got the analysis paralysis, like you don't like hack. That is classic three low vibration energy. So if you are struggling this month with lots of ideas and it's overwhelming you, just recognize, oh, that's the low vibration of the three. I'm going to make myself a list. I'm going to get it out of my head. And so that it's not swirling around in here because that three energy does not want to let go of any good idea. So you kind of have to play a little game with it, soothe that part of it by putting the ideas down on paper and kind of saying, these are just not right now ideas. These are really great ideas, just not right now. Scattered focus, ugh, so frustrating with that low vibration of three. Again, it's like task jumping. So one of the tactics I've used to help quit that context switching is what it's called, is to well, the main thing is to time block. I've been time blocking for years. I'm trying to remember what book I got that from. Um, I can't remember. Somebody probably remember. And if I remember, I'll pop it in here. But that totally helps with the whole problem of like feeling scattered. I'm doing this, and then I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, and then oh, I got a phone call, and then oh, there's the emails to answer. Turn off everything except for what you're focusing on, and that is what time blocking does, and it makes everything more efficient for you. Um, Inconsistency is another low vibe of the three. So, showing up sporadically in your social media and your email marketing, folks, we have to get on email marketing. Social media is changing. SEO is changing. And the only thing that you own and have control over is your email list. So, in all the changes that are awesome and crazy and all that kind of stuff, we have to be thinking about, we have to forward track these things. So, you know, in terms of inconsistency, where can I be sure? Usually you need some systems to shore you up with that. So that you're not popping around and like, oh, I haven't done a post in like 2 weeks. Oops. Okay, this last one here is a big one for the three energy, and that is self-doubt and comparisonitis. So be prepared for this to show up this month, and just also remember hear my voice in your head. This is a low three vibration. If you're feeling self-doubt and overwhelming self-doubt, like say you're getting rolling with things and you're being super creative and you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna create this post and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you get hit with like crippling self-doubt. Take a breath. And then please remember my voice. This is just the low vibration of the three popping out, showing you what it is, and that it's not real because that self-doubt makes you worry that your message, that you are not enough, that you don't have enough value, that people aren't going to want want to be with you and aren't going to want to buy your services. But that is all not true. So watch for the self-doubt to pop up this month. All right. I also want to bring up a topic here that is near and dear to my heart, and I've been bringing it up pretty much with anybody when the opportunity arises, because I feel like it is a huge thing for women entrepreneurs specifically. And that is, like what the question is, why do female entrepreneurs struggle so much with being visible? And, I don't have the answer, but I have some suspicions. I feel like that, you guys all have the ability to create these transformations for your clients. You know that. You know what it takes. You've had the experience, but yet you still really struggle to have yourself seen publicly. This is coming from a fear of judgment. It's coming from perfectionism, and it's coming from a place of feeling like you're not ready. And it holds you back from showing your work. And what, and I also know that it's because there's a couple of things that I think for the reason for this. One of them, I think, is that a lot of us as female entrepreneurs have gone into the the caregiving aspect of, an industry. I chose aesthetics and spa. Some people chose massage. Some other people chose counseling. Like, it doesn't matter kind of what you're doing. It was kind of, that was how I wanted to, that's how I came into the entrepreneurial space. And, we want to be in these caring, giving spaces because it makes us feel really good. It fills our heart. We didn't get into these caring types of roles as a career typically to make a lot of money. I mean, that was the hope, but the real the real drive came from the heart, or it came from the head, in terms of, like, I know I can help somebody. I know the steps, I know the progression, I know the logic behind it. And connected with the heart, you know, we've landed into these caregiving roles in our career. Even if you're a coach, I do a lot of caregiving, a lot of nurturing to my clients. And so when we think back, all of those caregiving roles have never really been valued, right? When we look in the beauty industry, the industry's never really been valued by kind of mainstream. It's, we've always been paid low, and, kind of criticized and for expensive treatments, or there's been kind of like this lack of validity, like, oh, you just have a beauty job. Did you go to beauty school? Were you a beauty school dropout? Like, I mean, I heard those things. I've heard those things throughout my career from just like ignorant people. But what that has um, what that has done for me is it's allowed me to kind of put together this little situation that I've noticed, this pattern that I've noticed, that we are in these roles because we love to give. We love to create transformation for our clients. We love to provide that nurturing space for them. But it keeps us stuck in like lack of visibility, because it's often never been really valued and really truly valued. And so that, mixed in with a lot of the old stuff, in terms of, it being safe to speak up as a woman. Like I said at the beginning, it's only been in the past 100 years that we've really spoken up. Um, so this is new. And so, this ends up being this kind of confidence visibility loop that we get stuck in. So, we often are waiting for our confidence to show up. But what we don't realize, because a lot of this is subconscious, what we don't realize is it actually takes action to prove our own self-trust. And that is what actually builds the confidence, right? So the creative three energy needs movement. It's like a river. I have a favorite YouTube video. I'm going to I'll probably be sharing that because it's super relevant to today's conversation. And it's Esther Hicks and Abraham, and it's a really terribly low quality video that was taken, I think, probably a couple decades ago. But it's fantastic because Abraham is explaining the concept of going with the flow, and he explains it in the context of a river that often we don't even have to have a paddle. We just have to kind of get in the river and just like point the boat downriver. That creates that momentum. The thing that we tend to do that he said in this video, which is what is so true, is that we tend to like not get in the boat, we get in the river, and we then cling to a rock where the river is rushing by us. And we're wondering why things aren't working and why things feel sticky and frustrating and why can't we move I move forward with my business? Like what is stopping me? We're hanging on to a rock in a fast-moving river. And the fast-moving river is the manifestation of our life. And so I just love, I'm going to watch that again. I usually watch it at least once a year. Um, but it gives a great visual for this three energy. The three energy is a river. It needs to move. Okay. If you block it, your creative energy and your expressive energy will slow down. Period. It's the same, all of these numbers. If we are and that's why I give you the high and the low vibrations so you can quickly identify where you're at with things or maybe where somebody else is at with things because we need to, we need to be able to take action and see things clearly and take action on them and move because if we stay stuck in the low vibration, it just slows our whole life down, essentially. It'll slow your business process down. It'll slow your personal life process down. So let's not cling to the bottom of the river. Let's let go of the rock and let's let us flow with this creativity this month. So let's talk about these manifestation cycles in motion. So we got like shot out of the cannon yesterday on Friday. And so, again, just remember that your energy is pushed into creation mode this month. You might feel like you're being pushed. And how you can not feel like you're being pushed, how you can feel like it's easier for you is to start allowing. Don't fight the process, allow it. It's that like let go of the rock at the bottom of the river. And here's the thing about manifesting. It's more than wishing. Manifesting is not wishing. Manifesting needs intentionality and it needs action. Um, when The Secret came out many years ago, it kind of drove me crazy because it kind of gave the impression that you can just kind of wish it and it'll show up. Like, yes, our mind is very powerful, but keep in mind that we actually are only, our conscious mind is only using, our conscious mind is only 5% of what the whole thing is. So 95% is your subconscious mind that's running the show. And only 5% is conscious that is aware of the show. So that's why we can't just wish things into existence. We have to work on belief systems. We have to take action because taking action is helping to heal the old broken belief systems, right? So manifesting is intentionality, taking action. It's expressing ideas into reality. That's what this month is about. So we can look at it as kind of like a three-step process this month, the creative spark, um, and moving into next month and like so moving into April and May. So March is the three energies, the creative spark. We're going to move into four energy of March, or sorry, of April, which is about four energies about stability and structure. And so we've got the creative spark this month. And in April, the four energy is about creating grounding and structure with whatever this creative idea that's coming up for you. You may already have the creative idea. It might just need to be, figured out kind of on paper and how it's actually going to work. That's the action piece. You got the idea? How is it going to work? And then in May, we move into a five energy month, which is about expansion and freedom and uh, fun and variety. So it's going to be an opportunity for us to assess again where we're at and adjust for joy, adjust for freedom. So, when we are talking about using the energy of the month, we're using them progressively as well, not just kind of on its own, three energy for the month of March. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up like the creative three is moving into the structure and stability of the four, and then the kind of the joy and the freedom of the five is because I want you to take creative action now so that you are not, like you're not still stuck in the same spot for the bit when we're building structure and stability. So act now. It's time to shift from thinking to doing. All right. On that note, let's talk about practical steps. So I've got 8 practical steps for you for March. So grab your pen, hit pause if you don't have one, if you don't have your pen and paper. And if you know me, this all has to be practical. Like it drives me crazy. I love theory. I love working in the quantum field, but I live in a 3D world and I want to create change in my 3D world. So those energetic things need to be distilled into something practical. All right, number 1, go live or record a video. Make a reel, do a longer video if you want. No, just know that on Instagram, your video will be like max an hour. No, sorry, 90 seconds. But if you do an IG live, you can go on and on and on and on and on. But number 1, create a video. It's about showing your face, speaking. This, remember, 3 energy is about emotional expressiveness. So showing your face, speaking your expertise, letting your audience connect with you, not hiding in a treatment room. Number 2, teach, don't sell. Sharing knowledge is fun. You love this stuff. You love sharing your knowledge. It's a fun, it's engaging for both of you. It's fulfilling for both of you. So rather than like when you're at a point where you're needing, wanting to recommend home care for your client or their next steps or whatever, teach, don't sell, because I know you hate selling anyways. You love teaching. Number 3, write and post with confidence. Stop overthinking this. And if you are not already, please use AI to get things rolling. So this other aspect you're going to hear about a lot from me this month is using AI to do the heavy lifting in our marketing. Y'all, we've been asking for this gift forever. How many times have you been like frustrated that you had to create all this copy by yourself? Like you're not a writer, you're a massage therapist, or you're a whatever. AI like DeepSeek, like ChatGPT are tools that we have been waiting for. Now, there's lots of work in there in terms of like, you know, we want to make sure that the voice, like it all sounds like you, like it doesn't just look like an AI wrote it. That all stuff is manageable. But if you are not already getting started using ChatGPT or DeepSeek for creating content, please get on it right now because it will A, make your marketing so much easier, and B, you get to focus on your zone of genius, which is what you wanted to do anyways. Okay. So when number 3 here, write and post with confidence. The real action step is like stop overthinking and post that message that's been sitting in your drafts. But I guarantee you that you probably don't have anything in your drafts. So this is like post the social media post, post the blog post, post the YouTube video, post the TikTok, post, send out an email, write something and put it out there. Action. This 3 energy month is taking creative action. Number 4, host a mini event. March would be a great time to host an event. Maybe not actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because a lot of schools have spring break. So I take that back. I forgot because all my kids are grown and out of the house. I was just thinking in terms of like it's before the summer kind of hits, but it would probably be better in April to have an event. But what I want you to do is to actually plan the event in March to host it in April. Okay. So whether it's an online event or it's an in-person event, this is about connecting with community through workshops, through pop-ups, through Q&As. So one of the things I'm doing, and I had this idea come up, well, I was what would you say? I was inspired by Megan Alton. She's my numerology mentor, and she lives in Kelowna, BC, and she decided to do a local event, a numerology event, at a little coffee shop. And I was like, oh, cool. Like I've done women's soul circles before, like pre-COVID. And one of the reasons why I stopped doing them was I was feeling like I was tired of leading, to be perfectly honest. And I didn't want to have to lead so heavily. And at that iteration of the group, there was a lot of prep and a lot of leading, and I was like, oh, I'm just tired of it. So I let that go. But when Megan did hers, I was like, oh, I'm actually feeling like I want to do that. I'm ready to do that again. And so I used that two energy of connection and collaboration. And I reached out to a colleague, an esthetician colleague of mine, who's also a tarot card reader, and asked her, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Do you want to partner up with me and do a little in-person numerology tarot event? And she was all on board. And so I just confirmed the booking, the location here in Sydney for full moon. Thursday, March 13th is going to be our first little event. So, you know, I planned it out because I knew the energies was going to be in alignment with what I wanted to do. So this is why I'm like, follow my forecasts, follow me on social media because you can start using numerology to map out your business, so that you're not like, oh gosh, okay, it's in March. Like, what are we doing for marketing? Oh, should we do an event? No, we shouldn't do it. Maybe we do an event. Like numerology, you can see when the best time to do things is. That's a big part of actually when I do forecasting is I'm asking like, what have you got going on? Do you have something you're launching? When are you launching? Do you plan on traveling? When do you plan on traveling? When do you plan on hosting an event? And I can see in somebody's forecast whether it's good timing for those kinds of things. All right. Number five is collaborate. Now, collaborate was on my list last month for the two energy of connection, but this is more about expanding your visibility by collaboration. So I had a great month on my social media KPIs. I took a look at them and I was like, whoa, that is amazing. But I had focused my whole month on sharing other people's offers, interviewing them, being interviewed, sending out emails. Like it was a great month for my visibility in a two energy month because my strategy was collaboration. Now I'm continuing that energy because I have more interviews that I haven't published yet for the podcast. And I've collaborated with Amy Wall in her Light Lift program, and I'll have be doing some guest speaking in there. So I really love that connection and collaboration, how that worked for me in February, and it proved to me through my metrics, through all my numbers, that that worked really, really well. So I'm using the three energy of March to share the message of expanding your visibility in a bigger way, um, and in a way that it expands my visibility too. All right. I'm not going to ask you to do anything I would not do myself. Okay. Number six for marketing and visibility boosters is to share before and after transformations. This is one of those really important pieces. And I know a lot of you forget, especially you skin therapists out there, you're forgetting to take your before and after pictures just for your own soap notes, right? For tracking, what the client is experiencing, what their results are. And, a lot of times I'm hearing from skin therapists, like lash artists, like they're afraid to, they're like, well, clients don't want to see, they don't want to have their stuff posted on social media. Well, we don't start when we ask clients for a testimonial. We typically are not asking them like on their first visit. But we are taking pictures, before they start their facial, after their facial, before like throughout, so that you have proof of what you're doing is creating transformation. Now, how you ask for the testimonial is after you feel like you've got some really great testimonials, you would ask your client if, you know, I've noticed like you've got this beautiful transformation. I would love to share it. I know if you're a little shy about that, I can hide your eyes and who you are. But would you mind sharing your transformational journey? And a lot of times they will say yes. It's just that you're asking them to share the transformations, the before and afters, way too early. Like you guys just met, and now you're like, I want to plaster you on social media. Okay, number 7, create your signature message. This is all about like what is the one thing you want to be known about? Because people want to go to experts. And so, yes, you might know a lot, but this is in terms of positioning your business. What is the one thing you want to be known for? And then it's time to adjust your marketing content strategy around that. That's not to say that you can't be promoting other pieces of it, but having that core signature offer is very helpful in terms of like getting your visibility out there because it's repeated over and over and over. All right. The last tip I have here for you is to use your Power Portal days. Now, I'm giving you one of your Power Portal days, and that's today. And the rest of the Power Portal days are actually in the membership for the Soul of Business. They every month. Uh, at mid-month, they get next month's Power Portal days, and that is for them to put on their calendars so that they know what energy of the day is what, and they can like match up things. So one of the, for example, Amy Wall and I did a IG live on Wednesday earlier in the month of February. And I picked that month. Actually, I've got my calendar here for me. I picked that month very specifically. It was the 12th of February. I picked that date, 2 reasons. It was a new moon, so it was all about fresh starts and new beginnings. That the energy that we were talking about, well, the topic we were talking about was literally bathed in the energy of fresh starts and new beginnings and the vision of something new and what's possible. And it was a King of Diamonds day. So that's in cardology, and the King of Diamonds is the financial leader. He is the CEO of the card deck. He is responsible with money and like how the business is working, the financial structure, the responsibility and making sure things are paid. It's all about financial responsibility. So, we picked that day and we had a great like when I was looking at the views that we had, I was surprised. I was really surprised. And it kept getting like it kept having, its lifetime of that video kept going. And, that's just a little example of like using Power Portal days to match up kind of things to do. So like you ride that wave of powerful energy. Okay, so the Power Portal day I want to share with you is today, March 1st, and that it actually I'll share with you I'm going to share with you March, the beginning and the end of the month. Because when I look at Power Portal days, when I look at a calendar, I look at the first day of the month, I look at the numbers in the first day of the month, and I look at the numbers in the last day of the month because it gives us clues into what we should be paying attention to at that time. So March 1st is a 4 energy day and a 9 of spades day. So when we put those two things together, it's a nod to the fact that you're building something transformational this month. The fact that it's on the first to me is like, hey, yo, you're building something transformational with your express, like the way that you communicate and like create and communicate and share. This is about, the transformations that you create for whether it's for yourself, whether it's for clients, but it means letting go of some of the comforts. That's that 9 of spades, letting go of some of the comforts that are keeping you small. Okay. And I think we've talked about that a lot in this podcast already. And then we have on the 31st, it will be a 7 energy day. and a four of clubs. So the seven energy always asks us to have fierce faith. The seven energy is the most spiritual number between of 1 to 9. And it's asking us to do our inner growth because the card that's with the 31st is the four of clubs. So we're back to another four. So we start the month out with a four in it and we end the month with a four. Like we're literally being like, we're in a little container of support here for this month of three energy in March. So having kind of the message to me is like, have faith. You are in a container of support. Um, and for us to step into our highest potential and vibration while we try to be creative and express ourselves. All right, let's wrap things up for today. March is about taking up space, girl or guy or whoever. It doesn't matter. Just take up space because what you have to share is a gift to this world, is a gift to your community, and it needs you to be bold and it needs you to step into that visibility. No more waiting. Let your business be the vehicle of your self expression and your growth. That's what this three energy is all about this month. So, a couple of things I want you to do. First of all, make sure you grab the leadership code report that opt in. I've got a link for that for you to opt into that. And then I've got one challenge for you today. What is one way? I want you to pick one way to show up this month that pushes you past your comfort zone. What is that going to be? And if you're like, oh, I don't know, think about like if I asked you to do something in terms of marketing, like showing up visibly. If I asked you to create a reel, do an IG live, um, you know, host a little mini pop-up event, get on a podcast as a podcast guest. If I want you to pick one of those things to push back out of your comfort zone in terms of being visible and being seen this month. Like it's just old stuff and it's time to let it go because it's holding you back from being fully and truly seen and it's holding you back from your full frequency. So let's just have enough of that. All right, my friends, take good care. Enjoy this beautiful creative three energy of March. If you need any support, if you want a deep dive in your own numerology code, please reach out to me and we will book you a numerology blueprint. And or if you are wanting more information about who your soulmate clients are and like how do I actually market to them, that is going to be a big topic this month. Soulmate clients. How do I find out who my soulmate client is? What does my soulmate client want from me? How does my soulmate client want to market, or how do they want me to market to them? What does my soulmate client want in terms of like a service? Like what makes them feel like totally wowed? It's going to be different for all of you. And if you want to have a soulmate client reading, then please reach out to me and we'll book one of those because we answer all of those questions. But I'm going to be dripping out little bits and bobs throughout the month because that's what we're about, marketing and soulmate client attraction for the month of March. We will see you on the socials.